Ladies and gentlemen, every morning we wake up with two choices. We can continue to live the same day over and over, or we can choose to make a small change. Now, I've always believed that the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world usually do, but before you change the world, you have to change yourself. And that doesn't happen in a single brilliant flash of light. It happens in the quiet moments, in the choices no one sees, in the 10 little things you do every day. That over time will change everything. Today, I want to share those 10 things, not as a list, but as a way of thinking, a mindset, a daily system for building the kind of life that matters. Let's begin. People ask me all the time, how do I make a big change in my life? They expect a silver bullet, some breakthrough moment, but the truth is, real change doesn't start with something big. It starts with something small, almost invisible. It's a choice you make when no one's watching. It's the extra 5 minutes you give to a project when it's already good enough. It's the moment you decide to read a few pages instead of scrolling. It's choosing to walk instead of complain. It's replying with patience when frustration is easier. The world we live in glorifies the dramatic, the overnight success, the big reveal. But here's the thing, none of that is real. What's real is the grind, the craft, the repetition, the boring parts. The invisible work. See, small things, done every single day, aren't small, they're seeds, and the thing about seeds is, they don't look like much. You put one in the dirt, and for a while, there's nothing. Just silence, but underneath growth is happening, quietly, powerfully. It's the same with your life. You want to be creative, practice it daily, not when inspiration strikes daily. You want to be healthier. Move every day, even if it's just a stretch, a walk. You want better relationships, communicate daily, thoughtfully, intentionally. You want to lead, start by showing up fully every day, even when it's hard. The people who build things that matter, whether it's a business, a book, a marriage, or a life, they're not more talented. They're more consistent, they show up, they do the work, they understand that greatness isn't a moment. It's a habit, and here's the challenge. The world won't celebrate you for doing the right thing quietly. It won't cheer when you drink water instead of soda. It won't clap when you shut your phone off to focus. But that's where the change happens. That's where the life you want is built, not on stages, but in solitude. There's something powerful that happens when you start treating each day like it matters. Not someday, not when things settle down today. It rewires your brain. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions and you start creating them. You stop hoping for a breakthrough and you start earning one. Now, there's one more thing. This approach, it's not sexy. There's no shortcut. You won't feel a huge shift on day 1 or even day 10. But one day, without even realizing it, you'll look around and everything will be different. Not because the world changed, but because you did, and all you did was show up every day and do one small thing better. I've always believed that how you start something matters, whether it's a product or a day. Most people roll out of bed, grab their phones, and start reacting. Emails, notifications, noise. Before they've even had a thought of their own, they're already living someone else's agenda. But here's the truth. The first hour of your day isn't just a routine. It's a statement. It's you telling the world what kind of day you're about to have. And more importantly, it's you telling yourself what kind of person you are. When you start your day with intention, everything changes. Not just your mood, not just your productivity. Your whole sense of direction sharpens. Imagine this. You wake up, and for the first few minutes, there's stillness. You're not scrambling. You're not reacting. You're creating space for your thoughts, for your clarity, for your next move. Because once the day begins, once the world comes knocking, it's easy to lose that space. So if you don't claim it early, you may not get it back. We often think time is our most valuable resource, but attention is everything, and your attention is at its sharpest in the morning. Before the noise, before the demands, before the to-do list takes over your brain, that's when your mind is clean. That's when you can design your day instead of getting dragged through it. And I don't mean you need a complex, rigid morning routine. This isn't about waking up at 4:00 a.m. and doing backflips. It's about creating rituals that matter to you. Maybe it's writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe it's 10 minutes of silence. Maybe it's just sitting with a cup of coffee and asking yourself what matters today. What you choose doesn't have to be impressive. It just has to be yours. Because when you begin with clarity, you make better choices the rest of the day. You don't chase distractions, you follow direction. You don't just check boxes, you make progress. And you don't just stay busy, you stay aligned. Most people never take a moment to think about how they want to live their too busy living. But you can change that. You can build a morning that doesn't just prepare you for the day. It elevates it. And if you can win that first hour, you'll be shocked at how much easier it is to win the rest. Now, some days you'll slip. You'll sleep in. You'll get pulled into something. That's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to care and keep returning to what matters. The question isn't, do I have time for this? The question is, do I have time not to? Because the cost of starting your day in chaos, without direction, without peace, it adds up. In missed opportunities, in rushed conversations, in creative blocks and emotional fatigue. But the investment in a few quiet moments, that pays you back in clarity, in presence, in power. So don't just wake up and go. Wake up and build. Build the mental space. Build the emotional energy. Build the mindset you need to lead, to create, to live with purpose. The world moves fast, but you get to decide how your day begins. We live in a world where everything is speeding up. Faster devices, faster connections, faster decisions. And yet the most powerful thing you can do each day is slow down long enough to learn, because your mind, it's your greatest asset. Not your phone, not your calendar, not even your time. It's your mind, and what you put into it shapes everything that comes out of it. Think about it. Every solution you come up with, every idea you execute, every challenge you overcome, all of it comes from your ability to think, to imagine, to understand. And yet, most people stop feeding their minds the moment they leave school. They graduate, they get a job, and that's it. They trade curiosity for comfort, and that's where they get stuck. But learning doesn't end, not if you want to grow, not if you want to lead, not if you want to live a life that moves forward instead of one that just repeats itself. You have to stay curious, you have to stay open, you have to make learning a daily practice, and it doesn't have to be big. You don't need to read 3 books a week or take 10 online courses. It could be 10 minutes with a good article. It could be listening to someone who sees the world differently. It could be revisiting an old mistake and finally asking yourself what it was trying to teach you. Because knowledge isn't just found in books or degrees. It's everywhere. It's in people. It's in failure. It's in moments you didn't understand the first time around, but finally see clearly now. The key is you've got to want it. You've got to build it in. You've got to wake up and say, today, I learned something new, something useful, something that sharpens me. And here's what happens when you do that. Your confidence grows, because you stop guessing and start knowing. You stop doubting and start understanding. You become the kind of person who doesn't just react, you respond. You walk into meetings with more clarity. You see patterns other people miss. You connect the dots faster. You're not just surviving, you're thinking ahead. And let me say this. In a world full of noise, thoughtful people stand out. People who learn, lead. People who learn, build. They take what they know and turn it into action, into products, into progress. Now, don't make the mistake of thinking this is about being the smartest person in the room. It's not. This is about being the most curious person in the room, the one who asks better questions, the one who keeps exploring long after others have stopped. Because the moment you think you know enough, you've already started falling behind. So ask yourself, when was the last time you fed your mind on purpose, not scrolled, not browsed, but actually learned? When was the last time you wrestled with a big idea? Listen deeply to someone you disagreed with. Read something that challenged you. That's where the growth lies. That's where the edge comes from. And that edge, it compounds, just like interest in a bank account. Except it pays you in perspective, in decisions, in breakthroughs. So build it in 10 minutes, 20, doesn't matter. Do it every day. Because every day you feed your mind, you expand what's possible for your life. We don't think about it often, but your body, it's not just something you live in. It's the hardware that runs everything. Your mind, your energy, your ability to focus, to create, to lead, all of it flows through the physical machine you've been given, and yet so many people treat their bodies like an afterthought, like the software is the only thing that matters. You wouldn't expect a computer to run smoothly if the hardware's overheating, would you? You wouldn't trust your ideas to a machine that keeps crashing. But that's exactly what we do when we neglect the basics: sleep, movement, hydration, nutrition. We push through fatigue, we skip meals, we sit for hours, and we wonder why we feel foggy, disconnected, uninspired. It's not because we've lost our drive. It's because we're running on broken systems. The truth is simple. If you want your mind to be sharp, your emotions to be steady, your instincts to fire at the right moment, you have to take care of the machine, and it doesn't take much. People think taking care of your body means spending 2 hours in the gym or eating a perfect diet. That's not what this is about. This is about daily maintenance, small acts that keep you aligned, energized, clear. Start with movement. You were not designed to sit still all day. When you move, your blood flows, your brain lights up. You feel more alive. Even 10 minutes can change your entire rhythm. You don't have to run marathons, walk, stretch, stand up and breathe. It's not about performance. It's about momentum. Then there's what you put in. And again, this isn't about being perfect. This is about being conscious. Choosing water instead of sugar. Something fresh instead of something packaged. The food you eat is not just fuel, it's information. It tells your body how to perform, how to think, how to feel. In sleep we act like it's optional, like we'll catch up on it later. But every night you cut it short, you steal from your next day. Creativity drops. Patience drops, focus gone. You think clearer, you react smarter, you make better choices when you're rested. Sleep is not the enemy of productivity, it's the foundation of it. And I get it, sometimes life gets messy. You have deadlines, you're tired, you're busy, but this isn't about waiting for the perfect week to start. It's about asking yourself one question every day. Did I take care of the machine? Did I move it? Did I feed it well? Did I give it the rest it needs? Because when the machine is strong, everything else becomes easier. Your thinking is sharper, your presence is deeper, your energy lasts longer. And here's the part no one talks about: when you take care of your body, you start to respect yourself differently. You hold yourself to a higher standard. You stop tolerating things that drain you. You carry yourself like someone who's going somewhere, and people feel that. They see it in the way you walk into a room, the way you speak, the way you stay grounded when things get chaotic. You don't get that from caffeine. You get it from treating your body like it matters, and it does matter, not because you're chasing perfection, but because you've got things to do, ideas to build, people to lead, a life to live fully, not halfway. So don't wait for a breakdown to start paying attention. Build your strength now, build your energy now, build the machine because your life runs on it. There's something most people overlook when they talk about building a better life. They focus on goals, plans, habits, and yes, those matter. But there's something even more powerful, more fundamental, and it's this: who you spend your time with shapes who you become. You can have the most brilliant ideas. You can be driven, disciplined, creative, but if you're constantly surrounded by people who drain you, who doubt you, who pull you into their distractions, their fear, their small thinking, you won't rise. You'll shrink. Human beings are wired for connection. We mirror what we see. We absorb the energy, the language, the mindset of the people closest to us. So if you're around negativity every day, it's going to seep in. Even if you think you're strong, even if you tell yourself it doesn't affect you, it does. On the other hand, if you're around people who push you, challenge you, support you, you grow, not because they give you the answers, but because they raise the standard. We don't become great in isolation. We become great by being around people who expect greatness from us, who believe in the version of us we're still trying to become. And that doesn't mean surrounding yourself with perfect people. It means finding the ones who are intentional, who are trying, who are curious, who are building, who are committed to something bigger than their comfort. Those are the people who raise your game. They hold you accountable not by force, but by example. They don't need to tell you to level up. You just feel it around them. But here's the hard part. Sometimes you outgrow your circle. Sometimes the people you've always been around aren't the ones you need moving forward. and that's not easy to admit. It's not about judging anyone. It's about protecting your potential. You have to ask yourself, are the people in my life helping me grow or holding me in place? It's one of the most important questions you'll ever answer, because your time is limited, your energy is finite, and you can't afford to spend it in rooms where your light is being dimmed. So seek out people who stretch you, who speak truth, not just comfort, who listen deeply, who challenge your blind spots, who inspire you to stay focused on what really matters. And here's something else: be that kind of person for others. This isn't just about what you get. It's about what you bring. Be the one who uplifts, who encourages, who pushes others forward when they're tired. Because when you give that, it comes back to you. The relationships you invest in daily, they become your foundation, not just for success, but for resilience. Because there will be days when you doubt yourself, days when the weight feels heavy. That's when you'll need people who remind you who you are. Not with empty motivation, but with real connection, with presence, with honesty. So choose your people wisely, not based on popularity, not based on convenience, but based on alignment, on values, on the future you're building and the kind of human you want to be while building it. Every day you're exchanging time with someone. Ask yourself, is that time lifting you? Is it making you better, more focused, more whole? And if it's not, don't wait. Make space, create distance, and make room for the ones who challenge you to grow. We spend so much of our lives looking forward. What's next? What's the goal? What's the next big move? And that drive, that hunger, it's powerful. It builds things. But if all you ever do is chase the next thing, you miss something essential. You miss what's already here. You miss the opportunity to reflect, to appreciate, to connect with what's real. See, reflection isn't just looking backward. It's not nostalgia. It's awareness. It's the ability to step outside the rush, look at your life with honest eyes, and ask, what am I learning? What matters most right now? Where am I growing, and where am I stuck? Without that pause, you start to live automatically. You repeat patterns. You make the same decisions. You confuse motion with progress. But when you build in time to reflect daily, intentionally, everything starts to change. You start noticing the little wins, the moments of clarity, the people who stood by you, the things you said you'd never do again, but did. Not to beat yourself up, to learn, to adjust, to become more conscious of how you're showing up in the world, because awareness is power. You can't improve what you don't notice. You can't change what you're not willing to face. And the beautiful thing about reflection, it doesn't take hours. It just takes honesty. 5 minutes at the end of your day. A quiet space. No noise, no scrolling. Just you and your truth. What worked today? What drained me? What energized me? What did I avoid and why? Ask the questions that matter, because your answers will build the map. We spend so much time measuring external things: money, likes, numbers. But the real metrics are internal. Did I lead with integrity today? Did I listen when it mattered? Did I show up the way I said I would? Those are the questions that build character. Those are the questions that build trust, not just with others, but with yourself. And here's the other part. Reflection brings gratitude, not the performative kind, the deep, quiet kind, the kind that reminds you you're alive, you're still in the game, you've come farther than you think. You start to see how many problems you've solved that once felt impossible. You start to notice the people who have shown up again and again. You start to feel a little less rushed and a little more anchored. Because here's what happens when you reflect daily: you stop living reactively. You stop letting the world decide how you feel. You create clarity. You create direction. You start each new day with a sense of perspective, not pressure. And that mindset, it changes how you lead. It changes how you build. It changes how you treat people, because you're not just surviving the day, you're learning from it. And when you do that every day, the growth compounds. Your decisions get sharper, your vision gets clearer, your steps become more deliberate. You stop guessing what works, you know what works, because you've been paying attention. So many people want a breakthrough. They think it comes from a big event, but most breakthroughs don't come loud. They come quietly, in the pause, in the moment you look at your life and ask, what am I really doing with this time I've been given? That question asked every day is a compass. It points you back to what matters, it pulls you out of distraction, it helps you course, correct before things spiral, so don't wait for the weekend, don't wait for burnout, don't wait for someone else to slow you down. Make reflection part of your daily rhythm, treat it like fuel, because it is